Hola. It's great to be with you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I appreciate the invitation from the Congress. So I'm excited to share with you today a journey that Keysight Technologies has been on for the last couple of years. If you're not familiar with Keysight, it's a relatively new company. We've been around for just under 2 years, but the business is not new. The business is actually the original part of Hewlett-Packard going back 76 years. And so what I'm going to share with you today is the experience we went through over 11 months to launch a new enterprise and to do plenty of value creation along the way and to not lose the focus on the most important thing, which is the inspiration of our employees. I want to share with you just for a couple minutes here a video that'll give you a little glimpse of Keysight.
It's there, inside, woven deep into our DNA. Because from the very beginning as human beings, we've believed in firsts. It's the same belief that created light in the dead of night, that took a deep breath and proved man could indeed soar, that took the first step into a brave new world. While you need look no further than a history book to find many firsts, there are those which at a glance might go unnoticed. Like U.S. patent number 2,268,872. But a powerful first it was. Because the filing of this patent in 1939 announced the birth of a new company, the co-partnership consisting of William R. Hewlett and David Packard, and the beginning of many firsts to come. We applaud the giants whose shoulders we stand upon today, those who came before and those who came after. Their legacy lines the walls of our buildings. Their foresight opened doors into new worlds. These giants inspire us, humble us, and most important, motivate us to honor their firsts with the next. So that one day, a new generation of giants will look back and say, we believe in firsts.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. You can see that Keysight, going all the way back to 1939, has been a company of firsts. And I'm proud to say we continue to maintain that focus. Today I'm going to share with you a few firsts that we've experienced in just the last couple of years, and I'm going to share it from a FM and real estate perspective. A little bit about Keysight. We have 10,000 employees approximately around the world, 134 sites in 35 countries with 5.8 million square feet. Just under $3 billion in revenue, and we're headquartered just north of San Francisco. And our footprint is not just office space. We actually produce our own wafers and semiconductors that go into our instruments, so we have fabs and some technical sites like that as well. So going back to firsts, so this was a very important first. This is our CEO, Ron Nersessian, getting ready to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange on November 3rd of 2014. And it was a very exciting day for all of our employees and for our company. And there were many firsts that needed to happen in order for Ron to ring that bell. And today I'm going to go through that from an FM perspective. And in fact, as I go through the material today, you could apply some of it to the overall company, but keep in mind, I'm going to be looking at it from an FM and real estate perspective. So the journey that I'm going to share with you, or the story, is how we created Keysight in just 11 months. It was lightning speed, and not just creating the new company, but really focusing on what is this new enterprise, and what is it going to look like, what is it going to feel like, and what are the values, and what's the direction of that enterprise. And then we had value creation that we did along the way. It kind of felt like we were building the airplane as we were flying it. And then most importantly, to make sure that our employees were inspired about this new enterprise and what they were going to be a part of. And I'm going to talk about that. And then I'll just finish with a few leadership insights. And I'm happy to say during this kind of, I would say, exhilarating process we went through, I really felt like as an organization, we didn't just survive it, but we actually thrived and I think came out stronger as a new company. I'm not going to go through these data points, but in case you're interested, these are the data points for EMEA versus the rest of the world in terms of real estate footprint, countries served, number of sites, and employees. This slide also gives you some data points, and I'm not going to go through the data, but in the upper right, the pictures there are from our Penang, Malaysia campus. You can see a couple of pictures there. And in the lower left, it looks like it's a little better on the screen you're seeing. This is a fab that we recently just built. And I mentioned to you that our footprint includes fabs, manufacturing, and some very technical space. We have things like, for those that are in the semiconductor business, molecular beam epitaxy machines that you use to grow wafers and things of that nature. Just a quick glimpse of our footprint. This is a beautiful metal-clad building we have. It's one of our own campuses in Beijing, China. This is one of our older sites that we recently renovated in Berblingen, Germany, just outside of Stuttgart. One thing I wanted to point out is as we've been doing renovation, as we've been doing work to create the new company, we've been looking for icons and opportunities to put things in place that really reinforce who we are and where we're going as a company. So in this case, we do focus in the automotive space, especially with the electrification of vehicles. And so as we did the renovation, we chose to put this electric car, a miniature Formula race car, which continues to race today. It's been in many races. And it really symbolizes not only the kind of solutions that we have as a company to remind our employees, but it also has the message of being nimble, of being fast, of being quick. And so our employees love it, our customers love it, and it was a very simple thing that we did. The next slide here is a picture of Santa Rosa when it comes up. And it's not coming up. There it goes. So we have a large campus just north of San Francisco. It's 1 million square feet on 250 acres. But again, going back to as we created the company, we were looking for those opportunities to really demonstrate who we are. And so this is an equation wall you see in the middle that has lab notes from a lot of our scientists and engineers from around the world. In fact, there's even there's an equation from Dave Packard that he used back in the early 40s. So it reminds employees of our lineage and also who we are and where we're going with our solutions. And then on the bottom right, this is a picture from our headquarters, and you'll see the pictures here on the wall. So those are just not any pictures. Those are actually photographs from our employees. So every month we have a competition where any employee can submit a picture or photograph that they've taken, and then we award prizes, first place, and so on. And we actually use that photography to line the walls of our buildings. And so employees love it because, they get recognized. Our customers love it because it's a thumbprint of our employees. And these pictures make our sites beautiful. So again, it's something new that we have done with the new company. We're in Spain. I want to just quickly share our Spain footprint. We're in the World Trade Center in Barcelona. We have a site here in Madrid and also in Malaga, Spain. And then the last picture is of our Penang, Malaysia site when it comes up. And in Penang, Malaysia, it's our largest site. It's 1.5 million square feet. This is Colorado in the U.S., so that's another one of our campus sites overlooking the Rocky Mountains. And then the last picture here is Penang, Malaysia, which is a 1.5 million square foot facility. And when you see the picture come up, You'll see there in the bottom right, again, a demonstration of who we are as a company. You've got an electronic circuit there, which reminds employees kind of who we are. So let me get into the story. So I mentioned that we physically split the company in 11 months. So this was a monumental task for us. The biggest part of our success was the high-performing teams that we have. I think the team that I'm privileged to lead worked in just a stellar fashion. But there was a few things that I want to share with you that I think were key. Number one, potential pitfalls that we were able to avoid. As we started to split the company into two, and what I should have mentioned is HP spun off Agilent, and Keysight is a spin-off from Agilent. As we split the company, we realized early on that there were some very key decisions that weren't being made fast enough, and we were getting delayed. So we quickly got very clear on decision making and the roles associated with those decision makers, and then also what were the measures of success that we could look at to see if we were moving along fast enough to get Keysight launched in 11 months. So that was key. The next success factor was not just the decision-making process and ownership, but the two people sitting across the table. So as you can imagine, when you're splitting two companies that are about $3 billion in size, you have counterparts that need to agree. And so one of the success factors was the transparency, the willingness to give and take. Going back to what Julie was mentioning about relationships, that was key. It wasn't just about the process, but also the relationship. And that was a factor that enabled us to move so quickly. And then the last one, and this is probably also a key leadership learning, there was a mindset shift that we really needed. And I found myself in this meeting, I'll never forget it, and the whole conversation was around why we couldn't do what we needed to do in the time allotted, why it was not possible. And I remember, this is the first time I'd ever done this, I stopped the meeting and I told everybody, you know, we're starting over. This meeting is starting over, and the only thing that we're allowed to talk about is how we could do this and what possibilities there are. And it got awkward, it went quiet for a minute, and then slowly, people started to share, you know, if we thought about it this way, maybe we could do this, or maybe there's a solution here. And by the end of the meeting, we had a rough idea of what we could do and later validated that. So it was really a mindset shift that allowed us to move so quickly. The second piece I wanted to cover is not just the physical split, but also you know, the fact that we're creating a new enterprise. It's not just the tactics of splitting legal entities and splitting site locations and getting policies addressed and lease exhibits. It's this new enterprise that we're creating. And how do we get people excited about that? And so as we went through and did our build-outs and our renovation work, we made sure that we looked for those opportunities to really reinforce the goals and the values of Keysight, whether it's branding or signage or some of the things I shared with you with the electronic Formula race car and those sorts of things. What were those opportunities? And I'm going to share a couple specifics with you. The second one, which took a little time and it felt like we were going slow, but it sped us up later, is we got very clear alignment with our CEO and C-suite on what the new real estate and FM policies were going to be, what the approach was going to be for the new company. And once we got that in place, it saved my team and I fighting 10,000 battles later with every employee in the company. And so that was a key success factor for us. And then finally, as we developed our strategies and direction for my organization, we were always very intentional in making sure it tied back to the vision and the direction of Keysight so that we could share that not only with our stakeholders, but even with my own team to make sure they understood, hey, this all aligns with where Keysight is going as an enterprise. I'm not going to go through this slide in detail, but on the left, this was kind of the next step I took, which was to do a full assessment to really see from a data-driven perspective, where was my organization at? Yeah, I knew we were launching a new organization. I knew that we were launching a new company, but really where were we from a data standpoint? And then once we did that, we developed a 3-year plan and really kind of mapped out our path forward. The one item I want to point out on here for you is we decided to run the WPS organization, my organization, like a business, not a cost center. And so what does that mean? What it meant to me and what it means to my team is, like a business, we're going to understand who our customers are. In our case, it's internal employees. What are their needs? What's the workflow requirements? Secondly, like a business, we need to make sure that we have a very clear operating model. What does the financial operating model look like? What kind of depreciation schedule do we have? And what kind of capital investments do we need to make to really meet that operating model? And so that was a big shift for the organization as well, and appreciated by the businesses and I think by our employees. And then the next piece is all about value creation. So, I talked about the fact that we split the company, we're launching this new enterprise, but we had very real expectations from Wall Street on what the financial operating model was going to be for Keysight. And so I had some very aggressive cost reduction goals to meet those objectives. And keep in mind, now that we split, we're half the size. So, last time I checked with any suppliers, when you shrink to half the size, you're not so attractive, right? And so I needed to figure out how we could punch above our weight, to use a boxing analogy. And so what I did is I took multiple lines of non-traditional spend. I went back to CBRE, who's our biggest supplier, and I said, hey, look, here's the value proposition. We're going to move things like car fleet, security, multifunction printers, copiers, faxes under you. So I'm going to get your revenue back, but I need cost savings in return. And it was a real win-win. And there was a lot of trust. We've been with CBRE for almost 14 years, and we're on our 6th generation with them. And so that really helped us move with a lot of speed and efficiency. The second thing is, we couldn't just achieve our goals with that 7 million. We launched Lean. And if you're familiar with Lean, it's all about simplification, continuous improvement, and we found another 10 million. And then finally at the bottom, while we're doing all of this value creation work, we had to hit our quarterly numbers, and I'm happy to say that we were able to do that. Okay, so now for the most important thing. So what? You split the new company, you get it set up, you've got your operating model in place. That's all, in my mind, a little bit boring. The exciting part is the employee inspiration. And how do you capture the hearts and minds of your employees and get them excited about Keysight? And so we looked for every opportunity to do that. And so the first one I'll share with you is a branding initiative. So, with a new company, you have to put up new signs and branding. And so we looked for opportunities to get employees excited. In the bottom right, this is at our corporate headquarters. This is all the employees out there celebrating the unveiling of our sign. Now, we could have just put the sign up one day and people show up and there it is, but no, we made an event out of it. And we've got our CEO right here, Ron Nersessian, and yours truly here in the front, unveiling that sign. And Ron took the opportunity to not only talk about Keysight, but even he mapped it into the sign. So our signs, if you look at them, they don't look like they would illuminate at night. They just kind of look like a metal facade, but they do. They illuminate beautifully at night, and so they've got this transformative value to them. And so Ron took the opportunity to share that and share how that's similar to Keysight and how we were transforming into a new organization and a new company. Now, the second thing we wanted to look at too is how can we really touch people every day and get them inspired. And so, we didn't have enough time and money to do everything, so we knew we had to be laser focused and focus on those high touch areas. So the first one is we figured, hey, everybody likes to eat and drink, right? So we focused on our cafes, and we endeavored to really make our cafes not just a place to go and eat, but a place to be. A third place, a place to collaborate, a place to spark new ideas. And so we renovated a couple of our cafes and we took that mindset in place. Our cafe participation skyrocketed to record levels for like 15 years. And now when you go to these cafes, you see people there not just to eat, but they're there collaborating, working. So again, a high-touch area with high circulation. Another one is, on the bottom right, our gymnasium in Penang, Malaysia. Again, a high-circulation, high-touch area that we renovated to get our employees excited about the new company. And then along the way, what happened is we had a reorganization. We moved our company more to a solution-based focus. And my team went from reporting into our COO into our Senior VP of HR, Ingrid Estrada, who's actually here with us today. And this was a great opportunity strategically for the company to look at how we can really bolster the employee experience even further. And so we developed a Workscape strategy, which is focused on the workplace of the future. That's what we call it. And we really tried to look again for those opportunities to move our footprint internally into that future workplace environment that really supports more of a software solution company, which is where we're going. And so on the bottom left there, that's an example at our Silicon Valley location where I sit, where we got rid of cubes. We went to workstations and collaborative space. And I know that may be old hat for some of you, but in a company that's been around 76 years, getting rid of cubes is a big deal. So that was a major step for us. In the upper right, this is an example in our corporate headquarters. And we've got, again, kind of this third place or collaboration area where people can go and be. And of course, you can see our beautiful artwork from our employees displayed there. And then Ingrid and I talked more about what else we can do. And we also launched something called an Archetype study. So in addition to the Workscape strategy, we realized, we're just still kind of guessing. We really don't know what the workflow requirements are of our employees. And I apologize, it's not coming up on the slide here. But we launched an Archetype study, which was really a qualitative and quantitative approach to looking at the behaviors, the workflow, and the needs of all of the worker groups across the company. And what we found is you could really lump all of our employees, it doesn't matter which discipline they're in, into one of 4 buckets. And as you do that, then when you're designing new space, you're not guessing. You understand, in our case, the Archetype analogy is an orchestra. So we have conductor roles, producer roles, the different roles, and you can see what kind of folks you have in the population through surveys and then design a space that works for them. So here's 2 examples. In the bottom left, that's Atlanta, Georgia. We recently announced that we're going to set up a software design center there. We're going to have 250 software engineers, and this is where we're actually going in and designing a space based on the archetypes and also the workflow requirements of that type of employee. And in fact, that site opens up, I'm happy to say, in the middle of October. We're going to have a big open house there. And then in the upper right, this is our San Diego Innovation Center. This is focused on 5G, which is a big play for Keysight as the world moves from 4G to 5G. And again, we designed a space that's based on our Workscape and Archetype methodology. And we're trying to get those examples out to the rest of the company to get people excited about the direction that we're moving in. And then finally, I wanted to share with you just some leadership insights that I learned along the way, splitting a company in 11 months. And some of these you could apply even when you're not splitting a company. The first one is up on top is C-suite engagement right up front, and it feels like you're going slow. The CEO and his staff are so difficult to get time with. They're busy folks, and it's easier just to jump in and start doing things. But if you don't have that alignment, you can have problems later. And I'm thankful I got some coaching from some key executives, and we did that, and it really did help us move fast. I don't think we would have been done in 11 months without that. The second thing is we put in place a CRM model, a customer relationship management model internally. So this is my team working with my customers internally, which are employees and also the key executives across the company. So starting with me and my direct staff, we're the sales team, and we're all assigned to specific execs. We have every exec in the company covered, and we have a very regimented process where we meet with them every quarter and sometimes even monthly to make sure there's crystal clear alignment on where we're at, where we're going, understanding what their needs are, and it's been a very effective tool to make sure that we have alignment on direction. On the bottom, External and internal focus. You know, you've probably all found it's so easy to get really focused on internal issues or get really focused with suppliers, and both are good and you need both. It's tricky sometimes to keep balanced on that, but to the extent you can, again, it allows you to move fast and it allows you to be effective. And then this company split, it would have been very easy to get very focused on just one of those. And then the final one, and this is a basic for all of us, right, as leaders, is clarity on goals and objectives. And when you're moving at lightning fast pace, it's so easy to kind of forget this one. But what I found is along the way, we kept the team very focused on the goals and objectives of not only the split, but of the company. And that not only helped with my own team, which did a phenomenal job, but my team then helped me with my job. And they were able to reinforce those messages with peers and stakeholders so that we had that alignment. So I hope these are helpful for all of us. So I want to thank you for the time, and it's been great being here, and gracias.